Hey, what's up? I'm Brian Fennell, also known as Bry Guy, and I have a show called Wine Unknown. So if you have any questions that you would like to get answered about wine, just click the link. It's going to send you to my inbox, and you just leave your message there.
That looks good. What's that?
It's Wine Unknown. Welcome to Wine Unknown. I'm your host. My name is Brian Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and I'm a wine specialist. What does that even mean? Well, it means that I know a lot of information about wine, and I want to share that along with my passion with you guys. So no matter where you're at in your journey, no matter if it's the beginning, the middle, well, let's face it, there's no such thing as the end. This is the show for you. So now it's time to jump into grape varietals. I'm excited because today we're going to cover Pinot Grigio, or some like to call it Pinot Gris, depending on where it's from. So after listening to this episode, you should have a great understanding of what is it, where is it from, and what to eat with it. All right? Everybody loves Pinot Grigio. Everybody's going crazy over it. It's the talk of the town. But what is it? So Pinot Grigio is a white wine that's usually like light in texture, but it also could be a little bit more fuller. It has a good amount of acidity, or let's just say like a refreshing fruit that's ripe. And it just depends on where it's from, the color you may get, right? So let's just back up a little bit, right? So it comes from the Pinot Noir family tree, which is a red grape. So this grape itself can have so many different colors. So it ranges from like red all the way to like blue, then you get like this yellow, then it's just all kinds of shades of the spectrum that you can get for grapes. That's amazing, right? That's real interesting. But where did it come from? Well, if you're following the family tree, it had to come from France. So it originally was produced or grown in France, and then it somehow made its way down to Italy. And then from there, it just spread like wildfire everywhere because it's so easy to grow. But let's back that up. Let's focus in on France, because you do not associate Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris with French wine. And that's because it's not really their thing. I mean, there are certain places that do it, but outside that, no, they're too big on like Sauvignon Blancs and Chardonnays for their white wines, not Pinot Grigio. Except there is this one place that does an amazing job with Pinot Grigio, or they call it Pinot Gris, right? And that's Alsace. It's in the northwestern region in France. It's kind of close to, I guess you would say, Germany. And they have a couple different styles they offer. Well, I mean, it's not even a couple. It's the whole range, where it's bone dry all the way to sweet Pinot Gris. And there are some fantastic producers that really embrace the grape varietal and are cranking out some fantastic wines. There's Trimbach, there's Weinbach, and there's also Kront Boss. I remember being so uncertain about putting these three wines on a wine tasting at the shop because I didn't know how the general public was going to respond to them. So fortunately, I got to taste all three of these side by side, and they all blew my mind. I was so surprised, like how ripe the fruits were tasting from the wine, how good the acidity was. They were so reserved that they just had enough to make you want to have some food with them, or you can enjoy them on their own. Like I'm talking, I was getting just like white peach flavor. I'm thinking apricot, some cantaloupe, melons. Like, oh my goodness, like they were really detailed and high quality wines. And geez, I just reliving it right now is making me salivate. And now I just want like some kind of seafood or something to go with it. And I'm just imagining, I'm just honing back on the experience that I had with this style of wine, with this grape varietal that left a great impression with me. Now, the thing with Pinot Gris is that they usually have a little bit more body to them than their counterpart of the Pinot Grigio. So whenever you see something called Pinot Gris, just expect a little bit more density or a little bit more weight on your palate than the light, refreshing, crisp Pinot Grigio counterpart of it. And man, that brings me to Pinot Gris here in America. I just love it. I just love America just for the sheer fact that it's a place where everybody can come together and be like this one big old melting pot of different cultures. It's really diverse. And that's the same what's happening with the wine world. So now we have this great varietal of Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris coming from France. It's not coming from France, but it's that style. And the winemakers found a home for it in Oregon. And they are crushing it. The style and techniques are real similar to those of the Alsatian Pinot Gris. So you're going to get a little bit more of that density to it. It's a little bit more heavier on your palate, but it's so good because you're still getting so many of those light, refreshing flavors that you expect to get from a Pinot Gris or a Pinot Grigio. It's nice and crisp, but also this one has a lot more fruit forward flavors and they're all going to be dry wines. Not like the sweet ones that can be produced in Alsace. No, you're getting the fruit flavors from these dry wines. Oh my gosh, talk about having a blast. I believe the very first time that I seen a Pinot Gris from Oregon was I don't even remember, but I was in a wine shop and I was just perusing on through because I wanted to do side by side all different types of Pinot Grigios. And I was in the Pinot Grigio section and I think the producer was Joel Gott and it said Pinot Gris. And I was taken back because in my studies, I known Pinot Gris to be from Alsace, but this had Oregon on it. So I was confused. So I just read through the description and I was like, you know what? It's under $20. Let me get it. Let me just experiment with it. See what it tastes like, you know? So I got that one as well. And it was really good. It wasn't the same thing as the Pinot Gris from Alsace that I had because I had all three of them side by side. It was similar, but yet it was different. And the only way that I can really explain it is it had a little bit more tropical fruits like mangoes and like bananas and all kinds of like whatever tropical fruit that you can think of, like guava in it, all these different things. And in theory, I'm just thinking that it's that way because it comes from a warmer climate than Alsace, which is really northern, and you're just going to get that like light, crisp, refreshing kind of like flavor profile to it. This one was not that. And I was just so taken back, like, wow, this is fun. This is fun. I'm really enjoying this. Okay. So I know that I can do something with this. You know, I can have like a tropical salad or something. It's something that I can do that's different than what you would typically do with any other kind of like Pinot Grigio. And man, I think you guys should experience it as well. If you can ever get a chance, make sure that you get Pinot Gris from Alsace and have it side by side with a Pinot Gris from Oregon. I think it's going to blow your minds just like it blew mine. Like it's going to show you a whole nother level of yourself. I don't know. It's going to be a whole new awakening in you. And then if that does not get you excited, I don't know. I don't know what will. But something on your wine journey is going to click with you and it's going to make you just want to go further and further and further. I promise you. Now I don't want you to think that these are the only places Pinot Grigio is being made or produced. They're being produced all over the world. You have some in Australia, Chile, wherever there's sunlight, there's Pinot Grigio. But none of them can compare to this workhorse of a place where it's being produced, which is northern Italy. They just have a hold on it. I don't know. Out of the Veneto is where a lot of the Pinot Grigio that you see is coming from. And these ones are, of course, inexpensive. You know, they are really light bodied, really crisp, aromatic. You're going to get a lot of like minerality. You're going to get so many citrus notes. These are the ones that you see by the poolside, you know? And it's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. So you see them on so many like poolsides and promoted and advertised everywhere for the sheer fact that these are light bodied wines. They're so light. They're just like, it's just like drinking water. They're so refreshing. It's just so easy. You can just chug them. You can just chug them. And you won't feel a thing. I mean, if you chug enough of it, you'll end up feeling drunk. You know, you will feel that. But they're so light that you don't even notice what you're doing. And it's so fun because you're doing it with your friends. You know, it's something that you don't have to think about. You're not sitting there guessing what fruit flavors you're getting or what notes or anything. It's just like it's a secondhand, just like a I'm drinking kind of thing. And that's what it's known for. That's what it's known for. It's not, I don't have to question whether it's good or not. Cause I don't care about any of that. I just care that I look cool drinking it. I still look hot drinking it. And I don't think I'm gaining too many calories. It's not going to make me look bloated. Because it tastes just like water. And then it's rushing right out of my system. And it's not going to be bitter like red wine. It's not going to have any of those tannins or anything. So you're not going to see me pucker. But you're just going to see me like have a kind of expression after I take a sip of Pinot Grigio. And that's what it is. That's what it is. Now, I'm not too cool for school. I will definitely chug a bottle of Pinot Grigio poolside and toasting in chairs and with my friends, having a blast. I'm not committed to any brand when it comes to the Pinot Grigio, but I do have the places I like to get my Pinot Grigio from. And where I like to get my Pinot Grigio, I like it to come from Alto Adige, the Trinidad kind of area, just because like that one does have a little bit more weight to it, so it has a little bit more, I guess you'd say, fruit forward characteristics. Those are the kind of things that I'm looking for, because I still want it to taste and feel like I'm drinking wine, you know? Other places outside of that, I do like Friuli as well. Like I would like my Pinot Grigio to come from there as well. That's more on the second option. And then outside of that, then it's just like I really don't care, you know? Like if it's there, I'm partying with everybody else, you know? But for me and myself, if I'm bringing it to the party, it's going to come from one of those two places in northern Italy, because those to me are the places that's going to give you so much value for your buck that it's going to leave a great impression on you. So make sure that you start reading your labels and see where it comes from, and then you can be able to taste through the differences of Pinot Grigio. While tasting through the differences, think about what kind of food would you like to eat with them, right? Because they're all different. They're vastly different, you know? So just think, if you have Pinot Grigio from northern Italy, I already know where I'm going with it. I'm thinking of something like antipasto, which are like hors d'oeuvres, starter hors d'oeuvres at a restaurant, at an Italian restaurant or at an Italian household, right? Like, I'm thinking something like soft cow's milk, cheese, risotto, mac and cheese, hummus, even hot dogs. I'm just saying, like, the pairings are just forever going with Pinot Grigio. And this is just Italian. But what about Pinot Gris? There are some really good pairings for that, right? So let's start off with smoked salmon. Smoked salmon is really good with Oregon or Alsatian Pinot Gris. Now, if you want to dial in, let's go straight to Oregon. Oregon, you want to pair with cauliflower. You want to pair with like chilies, like for like some salsa, like jalapeno. It could be something spicy. It's going to hold up to that. That's fantastic, right? We can't forget about fried fish and chips. That's going to go great with an Alsatian Pinot Gris. That was a lot, right? Oh my goodness. That was only the beginning of Pinot Grigio wine. There's so much more to it. But hey, at least you can say that you know what it is, you know where it can come from, and you have some ideas of what kind of food to have with the Pinot Grigio. That makes me happy. Hopefully that makes you happy. Hopefully you will go out and you will try to experiment some pairings on your own, like try the ham. Try hot dogs with Pinot Grigio. That should be fun. It should be cost friendly and it's a cool experience. Why not, right? Thank you for checking out Wine Unknown. I'm your host, Brian Fennell, also known as Bri Guy, and hopefully you have a nice glass of Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris in front of you, and cheers. Until next time. Bye.